Hi, good morning, guys. Carrie Scroggins, how are you on this Tuesday before Memorial Day? Yep, summer is here. And there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about that are really important that are going to be going on that I think we need to have a conversation about and to update you on a few things. First of all, I will be closed for the Memorial Day weekend on Monday. So the office will not be open. Right now, I am working remotely. The reason for that is in our recent storm, not the one that we lost all the power, but the one right before that, the one that had all the devastating lightning, my cable was blown up. And I am waiting on a special cable to arrive to replace that so I can get internet and get all my services restored in my actual office building. So in the meantime, I am working remotely and my phones are forwarded to my cell phone. So if you call the office, it's going to ring, but it's going to come to my cell phone. So you're not going to miss there's not going to be any messages missed. They are just going to show up on my cell phone and I will get back to you just as quickly as I can. In the last 3 days, the office was closed on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. I had to have a unplanned second medical surgery on my shoulder. And then Thursday and Friday, we had no power thanks to the massive storms that have rolled through the Houston area. So I am catching up. If you are waiting on something, I appreciate your patience. There's just a lot going on between that and trying to shop as many renewals as I can for my current clients because I know how unhappy not all of you are basically with your renewals. And that is a cumbersome process right now. It does take about a half a day for me to get through everyone's household and get them all quoted with all the carriers and then reevaluate the options and then get them to you. So if you're waiting for that, just know I am working on it and will get back to you as quickly as I can. I also wanted to remind you of some dates that are very important in the fall. From September the 20th through October the 6th, I will be overseas. I am going back to Australia with my family for a memorial service for my late mom, for her ashes. And so I will be completely out of touch with immediate contact. And what I mean by that, there's an 18-hour difference between here and there. I will still be checking all of my messages. I'll still be reading emails, but there's going to be a lag, an 18-hour lag between if you send it to me and I get it. So during that time, if you have an emergency and you need something immediately, you will be able to speak to somebody. You will be connected to my national office in Denver. So if there's an immediate emergency and you need something that very same day and you can't get it from the carrier, always try to go to the carrier first. If I'm unavailable at any time, if I'm unavailable and you need something immediately, you can always go through your carrier and explain to them that I'm not available and you need to get whatever it is that you need to get. If that doesn't work, then you'll be able to reach the Denver office. This is Premier Group Insurance. They're the national group that I belong to. They're on all your documentation. They handle all my carrier appointments and they are my partner. And so for that time period from September 20th through the Monday, the 6th of October, I think it's Monday, it's either the 6th or the 7th. I think it's the 7th now that I think about it. I'm going to be overseas and I'm not going to be back in Texas until that weekend. And then I'll be back in the office on that Monday. But you can go ahead and call the Denver office, let them know you're one of my clients, and they will take whatever information they need to get you and get you the help that you need if it's an instantaneous request that you can't get from your carrier. So please put that on the calendar. If you're a commercial client and you have renewals close to those dates, I'm going to do everything within my power to get your renewals done before I leave. So if you renew in September and you're a commercial client, please reach out to me in July and let's talk about timing of that so we can make sure that you get your renewals and that you can process them, and that I would really like to have them all done, obviously, before I leave, since I am leaving and going to be gone the last 2 weeks of September if you happen to fall within those dates. So that's sort of a couple of things I wanted to just clarify now. Okay, so we have just been through probably the worst spring that I have seen in my entire lifetime living in Texas. It has been the wettest spring ever. We've had storm after storm after storm. And unfortunately now we are headed into hurricane season. If we had any prayer of our industry leveling out as we head into our election cycle, which is what we have all been hoping for, I think that left when we had our last severe round of storms. I know all of you are seeing massive rate increases. The average household in Texas is 60%. That's incredible. It's astronomical, and it is absolutely ridiculous and out of control. I am a consumer, so I'm on the same page as you are. I am not happy with my industry. I am not happy with any single carrier in the state of Texas. We have carriers that are leaving the Texas marketplace, it seems almost weekly. So the amount of carriers that I have is much, much less than it was even 2 years ago, really even a year ago, especially on the property side of the equation. Carriers just do not want to write property insurance in the state of Texas. We are now up there with New York and Florida. Seriously, that's how bad it has gotten. We are the third most expensive state in the union for any insurance. We used to be in the bottom 5. Now we're in the top 3 behind New York and Florida. It's not a good market. It is not a friendly market. We are going to continue to see rate increases. I feel like after this last massive storm that hit the Houston area, we're going to continue to see massive rate increases. And I don't now think the election is going to have anything to do with what happens. I think we are going to continue to see it. And I do not, unfortunately, think we're going to have any reprieve for at least another 18 months to 2 years. And I know that's not what you want to hear. I don't want to hear it. I'm a consumer. But it is the reality of the situation. And the one thing I always promise to my clients is to always be honest with you and tell you exactly where we are. And this is exactly where we are. I do not feel that we are going to have any reprieve. I think it's going to continue. And I don't think we will see any change until well into 26, unfortunately. And then that's really going to depend on what happens with our election and what happens between now and then with our economy. If things continue to go the way they are, as we've seen by what we're spending for food, all of it's relative, including insurance. Insurance premiums are directly affected by what's going on in the economy. It doesn't have anything to do with, well, it does have things to do with claims. So if you're having claims on top of all this other stuff that's going on, then your premiums are going to be just out of control. And unfortunately for me, I can't, there's nothing I can do to prevent that from happening. All I can do for you is to talk about your policy, maybe make some changes, talk about maybe some change in coverage or deductibles. It is a very frustrating time for me because I have lost my ability to provide to you as many choices as I would like. Now, there is a new appointment that's coming on board. It is a massive appointment. It is a national carrier, and I'm very, very excited about it. I do not know the specifics yet. I do not know the date yet. I just know that the contract has been put into place, and now they're working out the details. So we do have this brand new, huge competitive carrier that is going to be in the marketplace, but I don't know the timing of it. So there is some good news in this message. I hate being the bearer of bad news. But unfortunately, it's the right thing to do so you can be prepared for the remaining time of this year and into next year. So I want to talk to you about your property in particular and preparing your property for the upcoming hurricane season, even if you are anywhere in Texas, especially though if you're in the Gulf Coast area and if you're in the Hale Alley up in the Fort Worth area. If we get the kind of storms that they're talking about, and they're predicting 3 to 4, category 3 to 4 storms, that is going to be so destructive. We will see flooding like I don't think we have seen before, including Harvey. I think it will be worse than Harvey. Because of the water levels, the ground is so saturated already, and the hurricane season is fast approaching. I am just concerned there's not going to be enough time for the ground to dry up. So if we have any sort of storm surges, we're going to see massive flooding. So I would strongly suggest, if you are anywhere near a flood zone, and what I mean by that, if you're within 5 miles of a flood zone, and maybe even 3 miles of a flood zone, I would strongly encourage you to look into flood insurance. I just don't want you to be left with nothing to hold in the event that the worst case scenario happens. It's not cheap. It's run by FEMA. You have to pay the full premium in one payment. They do not allow payments. And your effective date is a 30-day waiting period. So if you were to buy it today, your policy does not go into effect for 30 days. That's why this is so important. If you're anywhere near a flood zone and you don't have flood insurance, I would strongly encourage you to consider purchasing flood insurance, because it's going to protect your home and everything in your home. You can insure your home, the structure of your home, up to $250,000, and you can insure your personal belongings up to $100,000. So that's better than nothing at all, because if it is flooding that hits your home, there is no coverage on your homeowner's insurance. None. No flood is ever covered on any Texas homeowner's policy. Wind and hail, yes. Rain, yes. Weather, yes. Fire, flood, no. There is zero coverage on any homeowner's policy in the state of Texas for flood. So I really want you to think about that. I also really encourage you to look at your property, and if you have any trees around your home, you need a 15 to 20 foot clearance now. It used to be 10 was sort of the golden number. I don't feel that way anymore, because the ground is so saturated that even these bigger trees that are away from our properties are struggling to stand. I can just tell you, in where I am, I see it all the time. This last storm, we have 200-year-old trees that are 25 feet away from a home, and they're hitting homes, and they're crushing cars, and they're hurting people. So for safety precautions, my suggestion is 20 feet on either side of your home or above your home. So if you have a tree that is close to your house, you want a 20-foot clearance over the house. So if it does fall, a portion of it falls, you have 20 feet between the tree and your house, okay? Because it's not just the tree falling that causes the damage and causes the claim. It causes what happens with the tree, because that will affect your claim. It's going to affect the amount that's paid on the claim, because you've got to have the tree taken care of. And these massive big trees are thousands and thousands of dollars to have them cut up and taken away. There's just a lot to think about right now, and that's what this video is all about, to give you some food for thought so you can make some preparations as we head into this dangerous hurricane season. And I pray that they are wrong. I really do. I hope we don't have any, or we just have maybe a couple of tropical storms, but no category 3 or 4, because that is when we see devastating surges and devastating rotations of weather, which is what the North Texas area gets. And that's where their wind and hail comes into play, is on the rotating outer circle of these hurricanes and storm surges that come through the Gulf. So, of course, anytime you have any questions, please call me. The office is still open with normal phone hours, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I am in the office the majority of the day, right now especially because I'm recovering from surgery, so I'm not out in the afternoons on appointments right now, and probably won't be through the end of May. So if you need to reach me, please just call the office. It'll go straight to my cell phone. I'll also get an email notification that you've left me a message, and I will get back to you just as quickly as I can. Please don't ever hesitate to call me. And if you've got a renewal and it's coming up, please be checking your emails and your mail for those renewal offers. And I need at least 3 days, bare minimum, to put you on the list and then start shopping other options for you if your renewal is unacceptable. And I think we have to kind of think about that too. What is unacceptable? In my opinion, it used to be no more than 5%, but that's well before we started to see this massive change in our industry. I think now, if you get any less than a 20% rate increase, I just don't know that I'll be able to find it anywhere else. And that's the reality of the situation. Because one, we have less carriers to go to, and some of the carriers that we have to go to here in the Houston area now have excluded wind and hail, so you'll have to buy it from the state. That's where we are. It also brings up a point that I think is going to happen. I think the state, at some point, if things do not improve, I think the state will have to step in and they'll have to create a property wind and hail policy like they have for wind, a homeowner's policy pool like they have for wind and hail. Because carriers are leaving, but you still have homes and you still have mortgages, so you still have to insure your property. And if it gets to the point where it is unfeasible for us to continue to pay these unbelievable prices, the state will have to step in at some point. And I do feel that that's what's going to happen. I do. I feel it's going to happen, and if we continue on this path, I think we'll see it by 2026. Anyways, that's sort of where we are. I wanted to just touch base with you today. I know this is not the kind of video that you want to see along with all the other things that we've got going on in our lives today, but it would not be right of me to not at least give you a heads up and give you some information to think about so you can prepare, especially as we head into hurricane season here in Texas. God bless. I hope this message finds everyone well and safe, and my best wishes to everybody for a wonderful summer, a safe summer. Remember, the State Department has just released a travel warning, so be very careful if you're traveling overseas. Do your due diligence, make sure you're prepared. And I also want to just put a sort of a food for thought out there for you too in emergency management. Based upon what happened last week, I really thought my family was prepared. I really thought we were prepared for a situation like we had for almost 3 days with no power. We really weren't prepared. So make sure you have gallons of water available for your family. I'm not talking 4 or 5 gallons. I'm talking 4 to 5 containers of 10 gallons. So 50 gallons of water is what I'm encouraging everybody to have available in the event of emergency. And generators, either a complete household generator to run your entire house, and they're not cheap, I know that. You can get them for about $3,500 that will run your entire house. And if you can't do that, a generator that can at least run fans, that can run electrical charging devices for your phones. Make sure you have plenty of propane. All of these things as we go into this season of hurricanes, be prepared and have a family emergency management plan for your immediate family, for your children, and for your extended family. Because it's not just the weather we have to be worried about. We have to be worried about the human element too. And if we lose our infrastructure, you have to have water to survive. You have to be able to cook something, and having propane is so important as well. So generators, are very important. Water and canned goods of some sort. So if we do run into a situation where we have no infrastructure, we can survive until that infrastructure can be repaired. God bless everybody. I do want you to know how much I appreciate your business. I love what I do. I am so incredibly sorry that the insurance industry has deserted all of us, and that's me included, as a consumer, but as your agent. I find it very, very difficult to not be able to give my clients what they need. And my industry has let me down, which means I'm letting you down. And that is an unacceptable feeling. So I'm doing everything within my power to find new appointments so I can continue to find better options and rates for you. That's why I'm an independent agent. And that is my promise to you. God bless. Stay safe. Have a wonderful summer. Feel free to reach me. 817-694-0053 is my cell phone. The office line in North Texas is 817-374-4477, and the Houston Exchange is 832-391-8271. You can reach me by phone 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the rest of the time, I'm still working. The phone lines are closed during those other hours so I can get the work done that I need to get done for you. God bless, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. You are so appreciated, and I want you to know I appreciate your business very much. Take care.